Swasti and Namaste. On behalf of the Swastika Awareness Coalition, as well as its founding members, such as the Coalition of Hindus of North America, Haiwa Foundation for Peace and Reconciliation of New York, the United States Hindu Alliance, and the Buddhist Council of New York, I welcome you all to this historic and unique event. I am honored to be in the company of spiritual, religious, and organizational leaders belonging to the Hindu, Buddhist, Jain, and Native American traditions, who have gathered today to unveil the Swastika Proclamation and embark on a journey to promote mutual respect and an accurate understanding of this deeply sacred and an ancient symbol revered by close to 2 billion people today. In June of 2022, various Hindu, Buddhist, Jain, and Native American organizations and spiritual leaders came together for the North America Swastika Leadership Conference to provide insights into the history and symbolism of the swastika in various traditions. The Swastika Awareness Coalition was born out of that conference, along with a robust discussion on draft proclamation, which was later finalized as the Swastika Proclamation. This proclamation is a historic achievement resulting from conversations between dharmic communities and the Native American elders to formalize a common understanding of the deep importance and sacredness of this ancient symbol of well-being and prosperity among our communities, where we stand on this issue as dharmic and Native American communities. It is a very important document that will be used in our united voice to the public, government, media, and society in general. It urges the world to distinguish between the sacred swastika and the hateful Hakenkreuz while condemning the latter. It also stands in solidarity with the communities impacted by the Holocaust and Nazi hatred. Along with our website, which is www.understandingswastika.org, the proclamation will serve as a document upon which education and awareness can be built with other communities in order to ensure that the symbol is not conflated with Hitler's Hakenkreuz or hooked cross. Today's proclamation holds not only a historic significance because it's the first of its kind, but also an important historic significance in the United States. In February of 1940, thanks to the prevalent misinformation and the environment in the United States at that time, leaders of 4 Native American tribes signed a proclamation saying that they will no longer use the swastika in their sacred art. The proclamation read as follows: because the above ornament, which has been a symbol of friendship among our forefathers for many centuries, has been desecrated recently by another nation of peoples, therefore it is resolved that henceforth from this date on and forevermore, our tribes renounce the use of emblem commonly known as the swastika or philpot on our blankets, baskets, and objects, sand paintings, and clothing. The fact that a set of religious communities were forced to renounce their sacred symbol is simply unacceptable and against the fundamental religious and civil rights of any community. 82 years later, I am happy to say that leaders of Native American communities have joined those in the dharmic communities in affirming the sacredness of the swastika and their religious rights while condemning bigotry and intolerance. Today, we will be hearing comments from some of these leaders next, and will then participate in a small ceremony to officiate the proclamation. With that, I would like to welcome Reverend James Lynch.
Thank you.
Reverend James A. Lynch is a Dharma teacher of the lay Buddhist organization Risho Kosekai. He's an official representative for them in the New York City area and an official representative for them in the United Nations. Reverend James is currently the president of the Buddhist Council of New York, which represents more than 950,000 Buddhists in the tri-state area. He also sits on the Board of Religions for Peace USA, which is the largest interfaith peace organization in America, and was recently appointed as a trustee of the prestigious International Parliament of World Religions. Welcome, Reverend Lynch. Please go ahead.
Thank you, everybody. I'm sorry I'm using my phone. We're having an actual 40th anniversary celebration here in New York City, but I thought it was important that I come out and speak on this particular issue. I have my prepared remarks. And so again, thank you. My name again is was said is James Lynch, and we're extremely grateful to all the members of the Swastika Awareness Committee, and specifically the link that we have with the Venerable Nakagake for their efforts to bring to the fore the true meaning of the swastika. Indeed, for me as the president of the council, every act that I take should be in harmony with the historical Buddha's great hope to bring love and kindness. I said that before, but I think it should be said again, and compassion to all. And I'm speaking with that ever in mind this morning or afternoon or wherever you may be. I want to follow in the Buddha's peaceful steps. Indeed, the Buddhist Council's position is clear, that we are ever mindful of the West's appropriation and misappropriation of the swastika and the violent symbol of the Hakken cross and the horrific actions that were done under that particular banner. The council's work in an interfaith community here in New York City, and we're mindful of the Hakken cross and its ongoing use as a symbol of fear and hate, and we stand with all those who oppose that path of hate, anger, and violence surrounding the Hakken cross, its use and dissemination. But in addition, we are equally mindful that the swastika is a different symbol altogether from the Hakken cross. And with that, the swastika is a holy and sacred symbol that at its core is sacred for many religious traditions, as diverse as was already mentioned in the beginning, from the Bon tradition, Native American traditions, and for even Africa and Asia and beyond. Indeed, the symbol is at its core for all religious people who use it is a positive symbol of good luck and conducive to well-being, and specifically in the Buddhist community, a symbol of, as the former president of the Buddhist Council, Bhante Kandanya, mentioned in his last talk here. He said, he noted that it's a symbol on the hands and the footprint of the Buddhas of good actions. Also, the palm print and the footprint of the Buddha is a symbolic of the following practices of the Buddha, so that we can bring forth in our daily life the four limitless minds of boundless joy, limitless loving kindness, unlimited compassion, and great impartiality. I really think that as we reclaim the swastika from those who would abuse it, we must keep these limitless minds of the Buddha at the forefront of our actions. And at the end of, I remember grandmother Patricia Davis said, a traditional American presenter, once noted that the use of the Hakken cross represents literal ongoing sorcery over and in our world. And I never forgot that, and I agree with her. Finally, though I truly believe that we can, through explaining and reclaiming the true meaning of this sacred symbol, embrace all the peoples of the world, so that we can transform even the suffering around this difficult issue, and it is a difficult issue for some, concerning the swastika, so that the world can become a heavenly paradise on earth, in which we are the universe's hands, feet, and tongue. And so finally, let me say, let us pray that Shakyamuni Buddha, who many of us devoutly revere, the Buddhas, our hearts, bodhisattvas, saints of all religions in the 10 directions who guided us to our practices, will watch over our efforts and extend their hands of compassion and guidance, so the world of peace will be achieved. We also pray that not only the world of human beings, but the world of all living beings and the whole of Mother Earth and the universe will find peace. Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, October the 16th, James Lynch, the current president of the Buddhist Council of New York, I have respectfully offered these words of respect. Thank you, everybody, for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Reverend Lynch. That was beautifully said. And I appreciate you joining us today. I know you have a very busy schedule, but thank you very much for joining. Next, I would like to get some comments from Venerable Bhikkhu Bodhiji. He was unable to make it today, but he is sending his comments via video recording, which I will play in a bit. Venerable Bhikkhu Bodhi is an American-born Buddhist monk who received ordination in Sri Lanka in 1973. He has many important publications to his credit, including the middle-length Discourses of the Buddha and the Suttinpata, an ancient collection of the Buddha's discourses. In 2008, together with several of his students, he founded Buddhist Global Relief, a nonprofit supporting hunger and poverty relief. He currently lives and teaches at the Chong Yan Monastery in upstate New York. Let me share my screen and play his video.
Namo Buddhaya. Yeah, first I would like to thank Reverend Nakagaki for giving me the opportunity to speak a few words this afternoon. Today I will be away from the monastery, and so I won't have the opportunity to join you in person over the Zoom platform. And so I have to record this talk in advance. I want to express my appreciation to Reverend Nakagaki and to all of you for spearheading this project to preserve, protect, and promote the use of the swastika as a sacred symbol. We know that the swastika is a sacred symbol in Buddhism, Hinduism, Jainism, and other religions, including some of the Native American religions. And so we have to protect the original significance of this symbol from the distortions that it has suffered at the hands of the Nazis. In Buddhism and the other religions, the swastika is a symbol representing goodwill, safety, happiness, peace, and prosperity. It's a symbol of blessings rather than a symbol of destruction and hatred. Now, I want to give a little demonstration of the use of the swastika, or the idea behind the swastika, in the early Buddhist tradition. In the Theravada tradition to which I belong, I don't recall seeing the swastika, at least in Sri Lanka, but still the idea behind the swastika of swasti, or blessing, the wish for peace and prosperity, plays a major role. And we could trace this right back to the very early Buddhist scriptures, the discourses, the sacred discourses of the early Buddhist canon. And I want to give a little demonstration of this by referring to a popular Buddhist sutra called the Ratana Sutta, the Sutta on jewels. The sutta consists of verses recollecting or enumerating the virtues of the three jewels, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And at the end of each verse, we find the line, Etena Sachena Suwati Hotu. The word Suwati is the Pali equivalent of Sanskrit swasti, the word that underlies the word swastika, the symbol consisting of two lines in certain at certain angles. And so when we recite the verses, these verses praising the qualities of the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, we end with the line, Etena Sachena Suwati Hotu. By the truth of this proclamation, may there be Suwati, may there be blessings, may there be well-being, may there be safety, security, and happiness. And so the original idea of Suwati is the presence, the flourishing of well-being, of happiness, safety, and security. And this is at the utterly opposite end of the meaning that has accrued to the symbol at the hands of the Nazis. And so when in the Buddhist tradition, when we show Buddha images or Bodhisattva images with the symbol, the swastika symbol on them, what we are indicating is that those images, or the Buddha and the Bodhisattvas, the Arhats with the symbol on them, are sources of blessings, sources of power, of goodness, radiating out into the world, healing the suffering of the world, and promoting well-being and happiness. And so I think we have to work together to protect the use of this symbol and counteract, sort of undo the misinformation and disinformation which has been spreading, and the use of that symbol by those who represent hatred and destruction. So thank you, and I wish you all success at this gathering.
Well, I want to thank Bhikkhu Bodhiji for his wonderful remarks. Next, I would like to introduce Balabhadra Das Prabhu. Balabhadra Das Ji is the president of the Vedic Friends Association and a direct disciple of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder of the International Society of Krishna Consciousness, or ISKCON. He served as the temple president of ISKCON Atlanta for 18 years and is currently serving as the temple president and board chair of ISKCON Philadelphia. He has been practicing and teaching Bhakti Yoga for 48 years. As a member of both the African American community and the Hindu minority community, he brings a unique perspective around issues of inequality and injustice plaguing our society. Balabhadra Das Prabhuji, please go ahead. Yes.
Okay. Anyway, I want to thank you all for being here. And first, I would say Hare Krishna and Namaste to everyone. And for me, this is a historic event or an historic moment. As Prabhu mentioned, I've been practicing Bhakti Yoga since 1972, 73. And I've always had the concern that our community, meaning our Hindu-based community in all of its diversity, has been a little bit too quiet in terms of our promotion. And this symbol, the swastika, is very important to our culture. And I'm going to read a couple of statements from a Vedic perspective on that. But again, I think that the effort to make this proclamation available to the public in a widely distributed manner is a very important step. And the unity that's displayed on the screen on this Zoom call today is a testament to the importance of this effort. So in our Vedic philosophy, and it's been so nicely explained by the previous two speakers, so I'm just going to share a few thoughts. And this is from different Puranas. And it says the phrase swastika mandali refers to the drawing of circles or smearing and drawing pictures on Vishnu's temples for his worship. The characteristics are described in the following Vedic statement quoted from the Hari Bhakti Vilas. A worshiper of Vishnu should draw a square within each of the four corners, northeast, northwest, northeast, southeast, northwest, southwest of the Lord's temple. Divide each square into 16 squares and fill each square with white, yellow, red, and black colored powders. This is called swastika. And then in another statement from the Skanda Puran, which is very, very beautiful, concerning the month of Kartik. So this is the month of Kartik, or better known as Damodar Mas. It is stated, one who draws various shapes like sarvotabhadras with clay or other minerals in front of Lord Keshava resides in heaven for 100 kalpas. One who draws auspicious swastikas in front of Shaligram, especially in the month of Kartika, purifies 7 generations of his family. So as has been stated already, this is a very sacred, spiritually empowered symbol. Unfortunately, as been explained, it's been hijacked by some unscrupulous personalities. And as I said in the earliest part, is that we have been a little too quiet about this. So now that we're speaking in one voice, I believe it will have major impact. And I give my full support on behalf of the Vedic Friends Association. Currently, I'm the president of the Vedic Friends Association. Some of you may be familiar. So we give our full support to this effort. And I'm looking forward to the proclamation being read and shared with everyone. So thank you all for allowing me to be part of this. This has been my life for almost 50 years, and I'm so proud of this effort. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Balabhadra Jasti. That was wonderfully said. And you are right. I think we have been quiet, and that's the reason why we have launched this coalition as well as these efforts. So I really appreciate your comments. Thank you. Next, we're going to go to Puja Swamini Swatma Vidyananda Saraswati Ji. She's the Acharya of the Arsha Vidyana Gurukulam. She's widely recognized as a scholar of Advaita Vedanta and is a disciple of the late Puja Swami Dayanand Saraswati Ji, an internationally known Acharya of the Advaita Vedanta tradition, interfaith leader, and a scholastic author of Vedanta. She has sent her comments via video as she is in India. So I'm going to play those next.
My namaskars to everyone. I'm very happy to learn that the Swastika Awareness Proclamation is going to be released today. It is a very joyous occasion that after so many decades, this important symbol, a visual symbol of harmony, prosperity, and well-being, is being redeemed from the vortex, from the black hole vortex of Nazi hatred and all the pain and suffering that has ensued as a result of this hatred. The swastika is not just the property or a entity belonging to India. It is not just an Indian symbol. It is a universal symbol. We have this in Greece, in ancient Greece, archaic Greek pottery is full of swastikas. The border designs on murals full of swastikas. In Africa, there are swastikas. In Egypt, swastikas we have found. And also in East Asia, we find that. In fact, in Thailand, the greeting that one does to another is Swastika, which means swastika. So it is a universal symbol. We have two kinds of symbols in the Shastra, in our tradition. One is a sound symbol, which is called pratika. And this sound symbol, one example of that is Om. Om is generally not depicted, even though it has become popular as a visual symbol also. But generally it is something to be heard. And in the hearing, there is that transformation that happens. Certain other symbols are visual symbols called pratima. And swastika is a prime example of this kind of a visual symbol. So it's not enough to just say swastika. It has a visual component. There is a balance, there is a harmony in its depiction. And it is what is considered, it is considered sacred geometry. And to redeem this from the claws of hatred and from the claws of insufferable pain that the misunderstanding of this symbol has caused in history, is a very, very important endeavor. And I thank the organizers of this conference, including Shri Gokul Kunnat and others who have done this. And I pray that this effort is successful in furthering this harmony, interreligious harmony, interfaith harmony, and harmony and well-being for all peoples all over the world. Thank you very much. Om Tat Sat.
I wanted to thank Pujya Swamini Swatma Vidyananji for her comments. Next, I'd like to welcome Reverend Dr. T.K. Nakagaki. Dr. Nakagaki is a Buddhist priest ordained in the 750-year-old Jōdo-Shinshu tradition of the Japanese Buddhism. He is a president and founder of the Heiwa Peace and Reconciliation Foundation of New York. He's also the president emeritus of the Buddhist Council of New York, a Hiroshima Peace Ambassador, Nagasaki Peace Correspondent, an honorary board member of the Interfaith Center of New York, an honorary president of the Sanghakaya Foundation of India, and the New York City Police Department clergy liaison. He's the author of the Buddhist swastika and the Hitler's cross, rescuing a symbol of peace from the forces of hate, and important resources for all of us to learn about history, our significance. Welcome, Dr. Nakagaki. Please go ahead.
So, swasti and everyone, and peace to you all. And thank you very much for this gathering all together, you know, the different traditions gathering here. We care for the swastika as a sacred symbol. And we need to really make the differentiate from the Hakenkreuz, which is Hitler's symbol. That's the way he named it. He never said swastika either. So we need to make sure that swastika means good. Actually, su means good, and wasti as to be good, and then ka as make a noun. So we really need to have the sense of the word swastika when we use it. We need to have a good meaning. By the way, myself is from Japan, so actually I grew up with a swastika. For me, the swastika means the Buddhist temple on a map, and also this is something to do with the Buddhism, the teaching of the Buddha. So it's always, that's the swastika, or actually we call it manji in Japanese, and 10,000 virtues, basically. So it's a blessings symbol. And in Japan, though, also we do have another word for Hakenkreuz. We call Hakenkreuz in Japanese like sound, and that's a German language, right? And also sometimes translated as Kagijuji, which is hooked cross, basically. So because of that, we don't mix. But here, we in this country, United States, well, maybe others too, maybe, but the English word swastika is used both. But then each one has a totally different meaning and different history. And then the right education is something important, I believe. So especially this swastika proclamation clearly make a distinction between swastika versus Hakenkreuz. And I think which is a very, very important aspect. And I hope we'll be able to make a distinction between two different symbols. We make a distinction too, though. Simply, that sometimes we use those white powder. One is called sugar. The other one is called salt. But we don't mix up, it looks the same, but then we know the way to change, make a distinction between those. First of all, we need to have two different words, right? You don't want to get the sugar and then the salt in the box. It says the same name, but you just have a confusion or actually create a big bad taste. But then if you have a box of the sugar, it's sugar. Box of the salt is a salt. It looks all the white, all the powders, but yet we can make a distinction easily. So that's why I think when the proclamation emphasized this distinction is a crucial. The language is very important. Some people feel just the words, but then the words itself is the one that we communicate with. So if we don't use the words correctly, we will make some confusion. So I think this is a particularly wonderful gathering to even come to all the people who care for the swastika symbol. And so I'm very grateful for everyone and the people who are participating here. And then hopefully this will bring the, better understanding and then more dialogue, based upon the truth, not the false information, but rather true information. Then we can start the dialogue, we can start the discussion. And I hope we respect each other for the different culture, different background, different things that will happen in the history too. So anyway, so that was my comments for today. And I appreciate very much again for all the friends, Nikunji, and all the Buddhist leaders, Hindu leaders, Native American leaders, and those who can't make it, but yet they wanted to come, the leaders and so forth. So we really appreciate your presence, and we can work together and bring the right, the education, information to this society. I thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. I would like to welcome next Puja Swami Sarveshanandji. Puja Swamiji is the resident Acharya of Chinmaya Mission Dallas and was bestowed Sannyas Diksha, or the Order of Renunciation, by Puja Guru Swami Tejomayanandji in 2011. Swami Sarveshanandji is the National Director of Chinmaya Mission Yuva Kendra West, the youth wing of Chinmaya Mission West. Chinmaya Mission Youth Kendra West manages the chapters, all chapters across North America, including West Indies. CHYK West, as it is also known, aims to increase spiritual awareness among the youth and young adults from 18 to 35 years of age, so that they live life purposefully with a clear and noble vision and an attitude of service towards the community. Welcome, Swamiji. Please go ahead.
Thank you for having me here. I think a huge congratulations to all the leaders that are here, specifically working with Nikunj and Gokulji and the CoHNA team. Kudos to your effort. May Swasti be upon all of us for this grand effort, grand journey in claiming that which is our culture, that which is our tradition, that which is an integral part of our lives. Sad that for these many years, that which is a benign, beautiful, all-encompassing symbol, Pratima, as Mataji had just said, had been used to represent something so horrific, which by their own originators in the Nazi, through the works of Hitler, he himself mentions it as Hakenkreuz, which somewhere in the translation, I don't know if I can give or we can give a benefit of doubt that it was manipulatively translated as far away from their own theological roots to name it as swastika, and that we all have come together to reclaim that which is ours. Growing up, there were small stories that would always be narrated to us, that a father on his deathbed calls his 4 always bickering children and gives them 1 sticker each and asks them to break it, and they effortlessly break it. Then he has another set of 4 sticks now tied together, and he asks them to break it, and they find it very difficult, almost impossible to break it. So the father, as his parting message, he says a very profound message. He says, in togetherness lies our strength. Knowing that that which we have is the truth is one aspect of it, which gives a lot of courage. But knowing that all of us are standing on the same platform of truth is where we draw our strength from. And in that, today is such a beautiful day in this Kartika Masa to see that all of us have come together to rightfully claim that which is ours. In doing so, we are very conscious, we are very awareful, and in a very compassionate outlook, this reclaiming our own tradition has got nothing to do in an intent or in our actions or in our words, thought, word, and deed, to say that anything that has happened to the Jewish community, our own brothers and sisters in Jewish community, is to be seen less. It is just to correct course the translation. And that which is such a benign, all-comprehensive, beautiful symbol, sign, and a meaning associated with it to its natural, original glory. As a Hindu, as the various traditions that we belong to coming together, this is one step towards reclaiming that which has been morphed, changed into a despicable corner. There are many more that have to be reclaimed. And this only fills us with more certainty and a better view that together we can achieve a lot more. And the entire community looks up to us as a group to make that happen. Now we have built a hope, we have built a trail of success in doing so, and together we can achieve a larger, a greater, a brighter future for all of us, so that it is seen in the right light, and in that we can provide a sense of dignity, sense of pride, sense of direction to our next generations to come. So let us work together. I really love, may Bhagwan, may the entire Guru Parampara of all our various traditions shower their blessings and strengthen us in our resolve to stand up straight, where the head is held without fear, and in that dignity as you know, Rabindranath Tagore ji mentions it in that beautiful poem, which I recollect, is an amazing inspiration for us to follow through. Thank you all for your tireless efforts. We are there. I can vouch on behalf of everyone, all various sampradayas, various traditions, that we are there, and we will always be there with every step of the way to grant great glory, that which our Sanatana Dharma and these traditions so beautifully speak about. So may Swasti be upon each one of us. Congratulations again, my best wishes, and let's forge ahead to the newer height. Thank you once again.
Wonderful, Swamiji. So thank you very much for that, those comments. Next, I'd like to welcome Grandmother Patricia Ann Davis. She's an Indigenous elder of the Choctaw and the Diné Navajo lineage. Currently, she's on the International Council of First Nations, Commissioner of Ancient Knowledge and Languages as a speaker member. She's also an NGO representative of the World Yoga Community to the United Nations. She's an international educator who is initiated, trained, and experienced in facilitating her authentic Indigenous ceremonial change process she designed for wellness restoration. It is cross-cultural, intergenerational, inclusive, universal in practical application, and can be translated to any language. She's a whole systems designer specializing in peacemaking leadership, who has worked as an administrator in health and human services for 20 years. She has traveled to 10 countries by invitation to teach and facilitate the ICCP, that reframes thinking into an affirmative thinking system for win-win constructive decisions and outcomes. Grandmother Davis, please go ahead.
Greetings, everyone, and thank you for this invitation. It is truly an honor and a blessing, because realize that we are facilitating the very planetary cosmic ceremony for reframing our thinking into what is peacemaking, what is harmlessness, what is humane, and what is living the loving way. And that ceremony we call CoHNA, because the term itself, CoHNA, is describing the unifying principles of all people. And that is where we are actually in process of just deconstructing these erroneous thought forms. And my lifetime work has been about language and the use of language and the vibrations and the effect and the results, the consequences of it. And so what I want to speak to is that American Indian or Native American or Indigenous, certainly we prefer to be called Dene, Dene. Dene actually is our name for ourself, which is that we're the precious child of Creator within creation simultaneously. And this applies to everyone equally. We're all existing in this oneness. That's an example of my use of the term affirmation. And so we would prefer to be designated as our spirituality rather than religion, because it is the laws that govern us all, and not really a belief system. That's why it is inclusive into the oneness that we exist with Creator and within creation. So this reframe right now that we're participating in, I call the reverent revolution. That means it doesn't require us to overthrow anyone. It doesn't require violence and suffering to bring about a change. The change is that the reverence that we have for ourselves and others, we give up enemy creation and we befriend language and culture that restores and revitalizes our spiritual wellness. Within this oneness, I'm calling etheric network or etheric web. And I will say, I don't know if it's appropriate for me at this time to read what I had written and had submitted, or to just continue talking and end with an affirmations or chanting in the Nehbazad, holy people's sacred words and languages. So you can give me a clue here about that. Would you like me to read it, or can just finish what I'm saying here?
We'll come back to the chanting once all the two more speakers are remaining. So right
Yes.
before we read the proclamation, would love to have you chant the sacred chants right after before the proclamation.
Okay, I'll just complete what I'm saying right here.
Please.
That focus, sincerely focus on the fact that the universe only supports and enlivens the affirmative thinking system. And that's what is everything good, beautiful, and true for every one of us. And so when I use the word reframe, that's to the original instructions that we have all been imbued with in our conscience and moral reasoning. And so let us celebrate together that our intention is actually energetically the truth-telling with witness, then reframing out of the inverse, in which there is a trickery and there is a spell to take us otherwise, as is warfare, into an abyss. And this group are the people on the earth in a body, sincerely invoking this upon the earth plane, this service on the earth plane. So I wanted to make sure that you hear the power of the affirmative thinking system that exists in all of our language and culture, and our principles of oneness, in which we're all related, we're all relatives, we're all within one humane family. Thank you.
Thank you, Grandmother Davis. Next, I would like to welcome Guru Dilip Ji. Guru Dilip Kumar Thinkappan is the chairman and the global chairman of the World Yoga Community, which is an NGO associated with the United Nations Department of Global Communications. Guruji is the secretary of the Committee of Religious NGOs at the United Nations and the Secretary General of the Global Council of Religious Leaders. Guruji is not just an interfaith minister and yogi, but also an artist, dancer, bhajan singer, sportsman, martial artist, traditional healer, promoter of the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations, and the founder of the global movement for the International Day of Yoga, and much more. You could learn more about him at www.guruji.us, which is GURUJI.us. Guruji, please go ahead.
Namaste everyone. It is my great pleasure and honor to join today, especially the auspicious day we are going to proclaim a special thing today, right? I'm so happy CoHNA and Heva Foundation and the Buddhist Council of New York and USA leading this movement to protect our symbol of Hinduism. I had to remember the value of Adi Shankaracharya, who coordinate all the teachings in India from different faith groups like Indigenous group, different tribes, and create the Hindu movement, which led to the Buddhism. I'll say Buddhism is the fulfillment of Hinduism. So today we see the three religious groups are coming together. That's a great thing I can appreciate for coordinators. It is important to stand for our rights, not fight for our rights, stand for our rights. People may mislead teachings in different worlds. I remember in 2010 when I went to New York, one of the jail in New York City, I saw people, inmates are wearing orange attire. So I asked them why they are wearing orange attire. You don't have anything else? So I had a doubt. Are they trying to put Hindu culture down? They think we carry evil spirit. I go to so many interfaith programs. They try to neglect Hindus, Buddhists, and indigenous people. I always stand for our rights. Try to make our culture is valuable. Last week, Tuesday, we had a Diwali celebration, first time hosted by New York State Governor. It took a little while to make that one, and I saw people are hitting on her post, making bad comments. This is not healthy for the human being. So we had to do double work to create the movement to bring the teachings of Hinduism or Buddhism or indigenous tribe to show we are here to take care of our sustainable lifestyle rather than dogmatic religion, So I'm so happy. Today is a special day. We are going to celebrate and proclaim a wonderful topic. Thank you, everyone. A great pleasure to join.
Thank you, Guruji, for your wonderful comments. Always happy to see your support since the beginning of the campaigns that we have been working on. So really appreciate that. Next, I would like to have comments by Bhikkhu Sagarananda Thien. Bhikkhu Sagarananda Thien is the secretary of the Amrita Vihara U.S. Zen Institute, located in Boyds, Maryland, a Buddhist organization promoting Buddhist teachings and meditations such as Brahma Vihara, or four sublime abiding, loving kindness, empathetic joy, and equanimity, as well as Vipassana. He also serves as the vice president of Buddha's Wisdom Association, a Buddhist nonprofit organization whose aim is to provide financial and spiritual support and guidance for underprivileged children, especially girls with single parents in Sri Lanka. Bhikkhu Sagarananda Thien, born and raised in Taiwan, received his monastic ordination in Theravada Buddhist tradition in Southeast Asia in 2010. Prior to entering monkhood, he was a licensed environmental engineer with an international consulting company. Bhikkhu Sagarananda earned his master's and doctorate degrees in engineering.
Hi, this is Bhikkhu Sagarananda from U.S. Zen Institute, Amrita Vihara in Maryland. It is my very honor to be part of this event, unveiling the Swastika Proclamation, and to support the efforts set forth by the Swastika Awareness Coalition, in which my close friend, Reverend T.K. Nagakaki, is the president and an active member. And coming from the Chinese community, I would like to present my understanding of this symbol. Among many, many Chinese Mahayana texts, for example, Lalita Vistara Sutra, or in Chinese, Pu Yao Jing, we have seen that the symbol swastika was taken as one of the 32 physical marks of the holy person. In the sutra, chapter 4, when the Prince Siddhartha was just born, there was a sage came to inspect the physical marks, and he was in awe that he would be able to find the 32 marks that belongs to a holy person in the newly born prince, and one of which is a swastika, and that swastika is on the chest of the newly born. Therefore, you will see that, especially on the Chinese Buddha statue, the swastika, the symbol, has a prominent location on the chest of the Buddha statue in Chinese tradition. And this is how the Chinese people understand the significance of the symbols, which has a prominent or the most prominent location on the Buddha. So this is my short and brief understanding of the symbol of swastika according to Chinese Buddhist understanding. Thank you. I wish you all very successful and all the best on your efforts to make the swastika know or correct people's misperception of this most auspicious symbol, at least in Buddhist community.
Great, thank you very much for that. And last but not least, in terms of the order of the speakers, I would like to welcome Sri Gokul Kunnath. Gokul Kunnath Ji is the president of the United States Hindu Alliance, or USHA, and he's a longtime resident of Atlanta. He's also the co-founder of Hindu Students Council, which is the largest pan-Hindu youth organization in North America. Gokul Ji, please go ahead. Are you there?
Namaste and Swasti to all. It's an honor and privilege to be in the company of such distinguished leaders from Dharmic communities, as well as the indigenous traditions. Today is a joyous occasion for those of us who belong to the Hindu, Buddhist, Jain, Sikh, and indigenous communities in North America and beyond. For the first time in our collective history, we have gathered here today to unequivocally make a joint statement on three matters that are of utmost importance to more than 2 billion people worldwide. Firstly, the statement makes it clear what the swastika means to us as a people. Secondly, we share our contempt for the continuous persecution of Jews and other minorities. And thirdly, we wish to express all distortions and information surrounding the swastika, symbol which represents the aspirations of more than 2 billion worldwide. That basic human aspiration seeks to ensure that all beings are happy, all beings are healthy, beings experience enlightenment, the more awareness. There have been various attempts to resolve the swastika issue before, including a historic meeting between Hindu and Jewish leaders in Jerusalem. It was a major first step in the right direction. So in the backdrop of unspeakable and growing hate, as well as legislative efforts worldwide to ban our sacred symbol, the United States Hindu Alliance have joined forces with like-minded organizations to pursue a robust global awareness campaign to promote the work of the Swastika Awareness Coalition. At the same time, we shall also continue to work with the Jewish world on a lasting agreement regarding the future use of the swastika worldwide through dialogue. Again, thank you all for being part of this great and most auspicious effort. We are looking to make a major impact on the world for future generations. And swastika plays a very important role to create that beautiful world that we all aspire. Om Shanti, Om Shanti.
Thank you, Gokulji. It was wonderful, and yes, the dialogue must continue with those who are good stakeholders across the different aisles. So the next step in terms of what we're going to be doing is unveiling the Swastika Proclamation. So I can see Dr. Nakagaki getting ready, which is great. So what I would like to do is before we unveil the proclamation, we will do a small ceremony to officiate it from the different traditions. So I would like to start with Dr. Nakagaki, if you want to chant any sacred Buddhist chant for officiating the proclamation.
Okay, thank you. So for the Buddhist, most always important thing is the three treasures. So that will be connected to the sense of the center of the Buddhist. So that's what I would like to chant in a couple languages. So join me in prayer. swasti buddham saranam gacchami dhammam saranam gacchami sangham saranam gacchami Namo Kye Butsu Namo Kye Ho Namo Kye So. I take refuge in the Buddha, I take refuge in the Dharma, and I take refuge in the Sangha. Swasti, Swasti.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to welcome Grandmother Patricia Ann Davis for the sacred chants.
In English, I would like to say that swasti is also an esoteric meaning and symbol for us. It's ancient, and it is the procreative, affirming life itself, in which we use in our rug weaving and also in our sand painting. And the sand painting ceremony is specifically to lift off what is the sickness upon us on this earth and in humanity, and to return it to the light and to the love and the peace within the universe. So that is a simple, not translation, but description about recreating ourselves and lifting off of us what is not good, beautiful, and true. We only invoke what is good, beautiful, and true. Sa'anagay big ahojon tardin atin tardin naantin aro tardin sad id tardin ekeshin hojo nahaskli hojo nahaskli hojo nahaskli hojo nahaskli. All is complete in goodness and beauty and love and peace and plenitude and abundance and good health and and spiritual wellness.
Thank you very much. Yes, and with this, I would also like to welcome Sri Shobha Swamiji. Shobhaji is the General Secretary of CoHNA. She's going to do the chants for the Hindu tradition.
Thank you. Om Bhadram Karnebi Shunuyam Devaha Bhadram Pashyemakshabhidyajatraha Sthirairangai Sushuvagum Sanstanobihi Vyashema Deva Hitam Yadayuhu Swastina Indro Vridhrashavaha Swastina Pusha Vishvavedaha Swasti nastarksho arishtaremihi Swasti no brahaspatir dadatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. This verse is from the Atharva Veda. O Bhagavan, may we hear auspicious things with our ears. May we see auspicious things with our eyes. Glorifying you, Bhagavan, through the Vedas. With healthy limbs, may we enjoy a full life as allotted to us. May Indra of great fame bless us with auspiciousness. May the omniscient Surya Bhagavan, the sun god, bless us with auspiciousness. May Garuda of unobstructed movement bless us with auspiciousness. And may Brihaspati, one of great intelligence, bless us with auspiciousness. Om, peace, peace, peace. Namaste.
Great, thank you for that. And with that, I would like to welcome Agrima Agnihotri. Agrima is on the steering committee of CoHNA, and she's going to be reading out the Swastika Proclamation. And as she reads out the proclamation, I request Dr. Nakagaki to ring the bell after each of the each of the sentences.
Namaste, Swasti, everybody. Thank you all for being here. I will now be reading the Swastika Proclamation. We, the undersigned, hereby jointly proclaim the following statements on the swastika symbol. Whereas we seek a more truthful and peaceful world based upon mutual respect and mutual understanding with compassion, love, and wisdom in spirit. And whereas we affirm the fact that the swastika has long been a symbol of auspiciousness, peace, good fortune, and prosperity. And whereas we recognize that by strongly associating the sacred swastika with the Nazi symbol of hate, enormous harm is being done to more than 2 billion Hindus, Buddhists, Jains, and other indigenous people who continue to use the sacred swastika with reverence and respect worldwide. And whereas we acknowledge that the 20th century in Europe, Hitler and his Nazi party used the symbol of the Hakenkreuz, the hooked cross, which is wrongly translated as the swastika, into a symbol of hate and genocide in the Western world, and that Hitler never called it swastika. And whereas we understand Haken, which means hooked, and Kreuz, which means cross, is a German word and a type of Christian cross in the West, while on the other hand, Su, which means good, Asti, which means to be, and Ka is the noun form, is a Sanskrit word and an auspicious dharmic symbol having a history of over 10,000 years. And whereas we assert, based upon historical records, that the two symbols, that of the Hakenkreuz and the swastika, have completely different meanings, usage, and context, and that the distinction must be made clear and unambiguous despite the apparent similarity of their shapes and presentation. Whereas we understand and acknowledge the pain, persecution, and suffering resulting from the genocide of 6 million Jews and of 1.5 million Roma and others at the hands of the Nazis. And whereas we understand the various neo-Nazi, supremacist, and hate groups continue to use the Nazi symbol to dehumanize those who are society's most vulnerable members. And whereas we stand together in solidarity with the Jewish people in condemning acts of violence and hate carried out under the hooked cross, the Hakenkreuz symbol. And where we affirm that we are determined in the spirit of a collective humanity to bring forth the true meaning of the swastika in its traditional and auspicious spirit, so that the swastika can be used freely without any fear or misunderstanding. Therefore, be it resolved, we shall use our best efforts to ensure that the world shall henceforth recognize the true meaning of the word swastika as a sacred symbol and encourage the usage of the correct name Hakenkreuz or hooked cross to refer to the anti-Semitic hate symbol. We shall recognize that in this globalized world, there is a need to provide accurate information and education regarding the larger history and usage of the swastika as differentiated from the Hakenkreuz. We shall encourage all nations, in particular those in media, education, and government, to use resources recommended by the Swastika Awareness Coalition at www.understandingswastika.org as a comprehensive source of reference to understand the swastika and its equivalent symbols in the dharmic and other indigenous traditions worldwide. Dhanyavad.
Please join me reciting the swasti 3 times. Please join me prayer. Swasti, swasti, Om Swasti. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Agrima. I would like to welcome Deepali Arkalji. Deepali ji is one of the volunteers of CoHNA, and she has been behind the scenes working with a lot of these things that you see today. So I want to thank her for being part of the organizing team and working hard to make sure this event is successful. I would like her to give the vote of thanks. And after the vote of thanks, we will talk about briefly the future plans and how people can get involved.
Namaste and Swasti. A big thank you to all the organizations who have joined the Swastika Awareness Coalition, as well as those who have signed the Swastika Proclamation. SAC has been working diligently for over a year, and its hard work has culminated in today's unveiling of the declaration of Swastika as a symbol of peace, prosperity, and well-being. We are very grateful to all the spiritual leaders, community leaders, the coalition members and supporters, and for each of you who have taken the time to join us for a very historic event in declaring the swastika as a symbol of peace for billions of people across several dharmic and indigenous cultures. This declaration will be displayed prominently on the understandingswastika.org website. We encourage you to join coalition both as an organization and as an individual volunteer. The links have been shared in the chat box to sign up. Thank you for joining us today. Please share this important declaration with members of your organization, with your community, with family and friends worldwide. For next steps and how you can take an active part in supporting and promoting the swastika, I would invite Nikunji to fill us in. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deepali ji. So in terms of the next steps, there are 13 spiritual leaders that have signed this proclamation, along with several Hindu, Buddhist, Jain, Native American, different types of organizations. So we are looking forward to working with all of you, and some of you have signed up later on, so we will add your names to the website as well as endorsing organizations. We are going to be, this Swastika Awareness Coalition is not a formal organization of some sort, but it's a network and a coalition where different types of people will take on tasks. Individually, all organizations are welcome to promote the Understanding Swastika website as much as possible and use it as a resource. So when you're having conversations with lawmakers, with media personalities, with school districts, whoever else where you need to share education information, please do share this website, and more will be added to this. Not only that, but we will be holding sessions, whether it's individual working sessions or future conferences, interreligious dialogue, etc., with people, so that there is a better understanding of what we're trying to do here as a group, as a coalition of different types of organizations that hold the swastika in a sacred capacity. The Swastika Awareness Coalition contains individuals, leaders, groups, etc., that have a common understanding of the importance and the deep sacred meaning behind swastika. So that is really, really important. So those who subscribe to this meaning, those who are supportive of the efforts would be able to join the coalition. So those who have already joined, thank you very much for joining. But we also urge all of you to reach out to the organizations that you may know and invite them to join the coalition, because this is a really, really important part of it. Now, the next point is, this is the first time ever that a proclamation like this has been unveiled anywhere around the world, at least since I've been born. So I know for a fact that a lot of groups who have been working on these things, there have been some initial efforts, but this is the first time a proclamation like this has been launched. This effort will become global from here, and it will allow various spiritual leaders, various organizations from around the world, and we already have a few from India and Australia that have expressed interest to join this coalition and the efforts, because this is a global effort that requires lots of different educational materials and educational efforts locally at the grassroots level, but also at the national and international levels. We will be also engaging with the Jewish community, the African American community, as well as other communities who are impacted by Nazi hate, as well as bigotry and intolerance. But in order for us to build the dialogue, it's important for also them to understand that the swastika has nothing to do with Hitler's Hakenkreuz or the hooked cross. And there's a deep history behind how the hooked cross became Hitler's symbol of hate and bigotry and death and destruction, versus the swastika being a sacred symbol that has been continuously used for over 10,000 years by people around the world. So that's where we will be. And from here onwards, you will see a lot more information that the Swastika Awareness Coalition will be publishing. We will all jointly, as well as individual organizations, be working with you all. If you are interested in becoming a volunteer, you can sign up. Shobaji has sent a bunch of links that you can actually sign up to be a volunteer, because we want to grow a team that continuously works on this noble effort. I always look at this as a sign that Bhagavan has given us the opportunity to serve the community, to serve Dharma, and make sure that one of the most sacred symbols is not conflated with symbol of hatred, which is the Hakenkreuz or hooked cross. So this is where we stand. I want to thank everybody for joining us today.
Yeah, everybody smile into the camera, look into your camera and smile. 1, 2, and a 3. Okay, I've taken a shot.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful. I want to thank once again everyone for joining on this historic occasion. And you will see some communication coming out from the Swastika Awareness Coalition. Thank you to the speakers as well. Swasti.